Hi everyone. I don't normally film well in front of my computer, but I wanted to do so today because I'm needing the support that this lift chair provides me with. What I wanted to talk about today was to help people who are new to using a power wheelchair maximize their use of it. And that very first part of when you're learning how to control the power wheelchair. I was out 2 days ago to an appointment with my family doctor. On the mobility bus was someone who just got their first power wheelchair, and the person was having a really hard time, in the confined space of the bus to get their wheelchair where it needed to be tied down and sort of anchored into the vehicle so it wouldn't jostle back and forth during the ride. So for someone just getting started, I would begin by putting the wheelchair in its slowest mode. So it's usually one light showing up, although there are some fancier screens that would give you another indication. So that one light limits the power that can go to the motors, and it affects how much power on the distance of the joystick that you'd be pushing forward and backwards. So what I mean by that is if the joystick can move 1 inch, that 1 inch on 5 bars is going to go a whole lot faster than just 1 bar. And so it's not going to let it run out of control for you. So I'd start by putting it in the slowest possible setting. And then what I would do is get one of your friends, family members, or neighbors to set up some courses for you. And what I mean by courses would be grabbing maybe 6 or 8 of these lids from groceries that you've bought, or making up a course with masking tape, or you could use the little yogurt containers. Just something that you can aim to either drive over or drive around. And what I would do is make some snaking patterns that are going to force you to go left and force you to go right, and just get the fine motor skills. So when you've got a wheelchair, you ideally want the joystick to end up right here in this position. That's going to give you the maximum control over it. And then just kind of moving your hand a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right or a little bit forward, or else you kind of close your thumb in to move it backwards and have the wheelchair back up. So it's this fine motoring skill practice that's going to win the day for you getting used to your power wheelchair. If it's spring or summer or even fall, you could go buy a set of sidewalk chalk that children would use for their little hopscotch games or whatever other things that children want to do with it, and use that to draw yourself a course and practice outside your home. What you're wanting to practice on are going to be things like the corners that you're going to face. You're going to want to practice parking your wheelchair. You're going to want to practice an S-turn so you can get from here to beside you. It's that type of tight space that's going to win the day for getting your wheelchair anchored when you're on a mobility bus, or it's going to prevent you from hurting yourself when you're getting around your home and you're parking in the bathroom or in the kitchen or beside your bed. If you think about it logically, when you first start to learn to drive a car, it takes several lessons to grasp the skill set of operating a vehicle. It's that same skill set that you need to develop when you're using a power wheelchair. You need to have the grace and the patience to allow yourself to not have it go perfectly the first time and to improve. You need to make sure that you're having reasonable expectations for what you're able to accomplish. So I'll give you an example from my own life. The second day I had my power wheelchair, the footrest went right into the wall by the bathroom. What I hadn't taken into account was the wheelchair being programmed to slowly come to a stop. And it stopped all right, but it stopped in the wall. Now it's just drywall and easy enough to fix, and I wasn't really worried about that because I have the skill set for repairing and installing drywall from before my hips were so bad and my knees have got so bad. So it didn't upset me, but it's that type of thing that you need to have control over so you can leave the house, and that the wheelchair is gonna be the maximum tool and the maximum freedom that could be possible for you in the situation you found yourself in. If it's winter time, like right now, what I would do is get yourself to a mall or a big box store and just practice driving around the aisles and basically doing laps. And the reason I would do this is it may not seem like you're making progress from when you start to when you finish, but if you spend an hour or 2 hours just slowly going around a store, you're going to be learning the skill set. Now I know when you're going through life, it's hard to measure progress as you're going about life. So what I mean is personal growth, you may get a glimpse of it when you've gone through it, but when you're in the middle of it, it's not always easy to identify that you're making progress. But if you have someone there with you that's sort of walking beside you, they would be able to easily identify that you're doing better now than when you first arrived at the store or on the side of the street, or whatever is going to work out best for you in your situation. And then it's just something you build up over time. So I would even consider buying, a few pylons. But I did give some examples about making courses with the commonly used items that are already going to be in your home, and that they can be your aid and your obstacles so you're not hurting anything that's serious. I mean, if you run over a piece of tape, it's not going to hurt your wheelchair. Or if you run over a lid from a plastic container, nothing bad's going to happen to the tires 99% of the time. Okay? And it's just something you need to stick with and have the resolution within yourself that you're going to learn this, but have the grace with yourself to allow the time needed to adjust to it and to make it the true asset that it's able to be for your life. Where I live, the city has numerous seasonal decorations on. So, in the summertime, I'm able to take my wheelchair down to the Bay of Quinte and enjoy the waterfront, with that being my means of walking. Or I'm able to enjoy some of the ice sculptures or the Christmas decorations or the flower decorations throughout the town. It's that freedom that a wheelchair represents. I do know, and I do genuinely understand, that when you first start with a wheelchair, it's different. I'm sure that you didn't will to have a wheelchair when you were a child. But if you can accept that you've got it and that you need it and that it's legitimate for you in your situation, and screw for everyone else that's not, or everyone else that's looking at you, just forget them. And if you focus on what your needs are and what it can do for you to very much improve your life, you'll be so much further ahead. Your quality of life and your satisfaction in life is going to go up. And if you've been feeling weighed down by your body, by what's wrong and the obstacles in life, it'll help you reestablish what interests you. And for example, it could facilitate you getting out to a tea drinking group, or being able to go to a seniors drop-in, or being able to take part in a church community. It becomes sort of a foundation for your life that you then do whatever your activities are that will motivate you and help you enjoy the life that God's given you. I can't exactly practice for you, but I am there, and I'm very much interested in you being successful. And if you stick with it, it will get much easier around the 6 or 7 hour mark of controlling it. Thanks so much for this time that you spent with me today. Bye for now.